Welcome back, everyone. 6:12. It is hot and humid outside. Everyone seems to be pointing fingers these days. By now, you've heard the term corn sweat. It has ruffled the feathers of some in the ag industry.
Yeah, so we sent our own meteorologist, Jack Van Meter, out to the cornfield this morning to give us kind of both sides of the corn sweat debate. And Jack, we'll start off right behind you. The corn crop in general, whether we talk debate or not, looks good.
Very, very healthy. Good morning, Matt. Good morning, Tricia. Out here in central St. Joseph County. And yeah, just take a look at how healthy, how lush, how green the corn is this morning. And actually, if you take a closer look, I'll have Daniel pan to our leaves here. You can see some of them are a little wet this morning. And a lot of people, like you guys were saying earlier, are pointing fingers at the corn, blaming the corn solely for the heat and for the humidity that Michiana will be seeing. One of the main reasons why we did issue the first alert weather day. And while, yes, corn does put out an incredible amount of water, that process is actually called evapotranspiration. A lot of people online call it corn sweat. It is not solely to blame. You got to remember, we're a humid we are a humid climate here in Michiana. Just yesterday, our own Andrew Whitmire sat down with Jeff Burbrink, who is the Purdue Extension educator for the University of Purdue. He specializes in natural resources and also agriculture, and talked about the difference between, let's say, Nebraska's climate, who's fairly arid, but they have a lot of corn, and our own climate back here in Michiana. Take a listen.
Play a little devil's advocate here. Some of our viewers are going to hear, hey, I just heard that, everything kind of releases water. So doesn't that have to contribute to some type of added moisture here in the Midwest, with us being, kind of one of the hearts here of the agriculture belts?
Well, you just have to imagine, if there was no plants out there, what would happen to that water? It would be landing on bare soil and it would be evaporating anyway. So it's just because we have moisture, we are a humid region of the U.S. If you move to Nebraska, where it's an arid environment and they raise a lot of corn out there. Remember, their team logo is the Cornhuskers. They don't get the rain, and it's not as humid in their area. It's an arid environment. So consequently, they just, they don't have that fog that you see around here in the morning. They don't see that sort of thing. So it's a matter of, they raise just about as much corn as we do here in Indiana, but they don't have, they don't have the humidity issues. And we would have humidity here even if we didn't have corn.
And that's exactly right, exactly to Jeff's point, that we would have humidity here in the Midwest, whether it was for the corn or without the corn. Now, I would like to also point out that, yes, corn sweat does exist. We're just saying it's not on the same scale as the advection of the humidity from the Gulf down to the south. We just showed that earlier. We can see that some of the leaves are going to be wet this morning, just because corn, just like every other plant here in Michiana, does give off an impressive amount of water each day. That's why a lot of times fog is a big problem out in rural farm communities, because you have the highly packed corn giving off an incredible amount of water, especially earlier in the day. Tricia and Matt.
Yeah, of course, they're seeing some dew there already on the leaves. Reach saturation, that temperature cooling to dew point. And exactly, a lot of good science there. Jack, thanks for taking the time.
I've learned so much, and in many ways, both are right. I mean, we've got a lot of science happening right here, but this area is known for high heat and humidity. Thank you so much, Jack. We'll talk again real soon.
Thanks, Jack.